So this is presidency.ucsb.edu statistics. It's from the University of California, Santa Barbara. And what it does is it keeps track. Well, not only does it keep track, let's before I get into that, it breaks down every president and how many executive orders that were signed during their entire presidency, the average per year. And so let's just go down. So here's the executive orders. Let me just make sure you can see. Yep. Okay. The executive orders by president, average per year in office. And it starts with George Washington and it goes all the way down to the one who's in there now. And listen, okay, George Washington, a gazillion years ago, a total of 8 executive orders, which averaged about one each year because he was in just under 8 years, right? John Adams had one. Let's just quickly go down. And a free website, do your own research, but it's going to get it's going to get much more telling in a minute. So we see like single, low low double digits, anywhere from 4 years on average. We look at Lincoln, who was in office for 12 years, right? Excuse me, not 12 years. I'm getting these mixed up. Years in office is this column. So if you look at Lincoln, who was in office for 4.12 years, on average, he signed 12 executive orders for a total of 48. How many executive orders has been signed in the last 64 days, did I say? And we're going to get an updated number in a second. But according to the title of this live, more than double have been signed in 60 something days than Abraham Lincoln. Now we will see some numbers increase. You see Ulysses Grant, there was a whole war, like there were so many things, and he was in for 8 years. Only double for 8 years executive orders, right? Let's just go down to more current times. So you'll see some of the higher ones, from Woodrow Wilson to Calvin Coolidge to Herbert Hoover to FDR. But let's go to, the times where we're most familiar, right? We look at Gerald Ford. He was only in for 2.5 years, but he averaged 69 per year, per 12 months, right? Ronald Reagan averaged 48 per 12 months, and he was in for 8 years for a total of 381 executive orders signed. George R. Bush. Oh, excuse me, George Bush Sr. The father, I don't know if he's a senior, but the father, not George W. Bush, but the father, the first George Bush that we should be aware of, signed an average of 42 per year. He was in for 4 years, a total of 166. Bill Clinton, a total of 364. He was in for 8 years. George W. Bush, a total of 291. He was in for 8 years. Barack Obama, a total of 276. He was in for 8 years. Child, that's, if you look at, okay, never mind. I don't want to get sidetracked. We'll get back to the comparisons in a minute because I think it's on the other website. The first time Homeboy was in office for 4 years, he did over 220. And look at Joe, Uncle Joe, 162. Oh, child, we are up to 103 now. He done signed. So yesterday it was 97. Today it's 103. That is 6 more executive orders that were signed today. So it tells you the source, last updated today, the 25th. That's why I like this website, because they're quick with the updates. But let's just see. If we click on to see, and let me make sure y'all seeing the same thing. Okay. So it gives you tips on how to use advanced searching and if you're looking for something specific, but we're not going to look for anything specific right now. We're going to just go down. So it starts from the first. He started signing on January 20th. It tells you what the title is. And if you click on the title, it will give you more information. We'll do that in a second. I want to go to what was signed today. So we're going to go to the last page. And then today on this page, it shows the latest three. Well, I don't know if the order, but today there was an order preserving and protecting the integrity of American elections. Again, it's about knowing how this affects us. I don't care about how it affects other people that probably won't be affected as much. I'm talking about how it affects us. We'll click on that in a second. I just want to see what he signed today. An executive order modernizing payments to and from America's bank account. Oh, I got to do. Oh, I got homework. I got homework tonight. An executive order protecting America's bank accounts against fraud, waste, and abuse. Something ain't in the milk ain't clean, y'all. I don't know, but I'm gonna go to page 2 because I want to see what else was signed. Okay, so today, also addressing risk from Jenner and Block. So let's go to the voting. I'm gonna go back to the last page. And let's see, preserving and protecting the integrity of elections. As soon as you click it, you see you can hover over it, click it, and it gives you exactly, we're not going to read not even half of this. We're not going to even read a quarter of this. This is the entire executive order that you can read if you feel like it, if you so choose. But it gives you a summary of what it's about. The first paragraph really just tells you, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution, which is no longer available on the White House website. But it's a reference in these executive orders. The U.S. of A is hereby ordered, and then it tells you exactly what free, fair, and honest elections unmarked by fraud, because they think most of us, are fraudulent, right? Errors or suspicion are fundamental to maintain our constitutional republic. And wait a minute. Further, while countries like Denmark and Sweden sensibly limit mail-in voting to those unable to vote in person and do not count late arriving votes, regardless of the date of postmark, many Americans now feature mass voting by mail, with many officials accepting ballots without postmarks or those received well after Election Day. Okay. So we see where this is going, right? And I'm sure I haven't done a deep dive in this. This is my first time seeing this executive order today, but it was part of the 2020 Project 2025 mandates. So none of us should be surprised. None of us should be surprised about what is happening. So when you get a chance, go ahead, do yourself, listen, it's quite for anyone who likes, like, I'm a Nancy Drew Hardy Boys type of girl. So I love my little investigative reporting hat. I love my little deep dives. And again, I'm willing to, dive a little deeper and bring summary points to you, which is why I'm coming back more regularly, especially during the first 100 days, or at least the next, let's just say, next month, because things are going to be rapid, right? So we will be back tomorrow. And I shared yesterday, we have a special guest. He's an author. He is a certified treasury professional. So he's about that finance life. He's really about, he has his master's in finance, financial investing. I may be saying the term, it's in the description for tomorrow's video. Hakeem Webb is coming to talk to us about, so many of us are talking about wanting to move abroad. So many of us want to move abroad. But we have assets here. We have our retirement accounts here. Rather it's your SSI, rather it's your Social Security, rather it's your pensions, your 401ks, your Roths, your 403bs, whatever it is. He's going to answer the top 10 questions so that we make sound decisions before we move abroad. Because there are stipulations that come with drawing from, early withdrawals, tax implications. So all of that. Be here tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've already posted it on my channel. Turn on your notification. He was a host. He was not a host. He was a teacher in our Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance course, and he is phenomenal. And so he has committed, he's made a promise to me that leading into National Financial Literacy Month, which is April, he's going to come here, meet with us once a week so that we get it together, so that our money is set up in the best possible way, that we could plan properly, right? It's all we about that action. We're about staying ready so we don't have to get ready. There's only so much information I could provide about investing and money. He's a fiduciary, a licensed person. I only recommend you taking real advice or moving money from someone who is a licensed fiduciary, who has been through these type of cycles, these ups and downs, these ebbs and flows. And he's been doing this for over 30 years. So about him, and I love speaking with him. So more about that tomorrow. Oh, you want me to put the website in the chat? I absolutely will do that. I'll put this one in right now. Hold on one second. We're about to go to another one. So this is called, again, the American Presidency Project. And it tells you exactly what it is. It gives eulogies, executive orders, fireside chats, interviews, letters, news conferences, spoken addresses and remarks, farewell addresses, inaugural addresses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so let me go ahead and I'm just going to put the link to this page, and you could click on whatever it is you want to. So I do want to share another site. Hold on, let me remove this one. That helps you also find out more about the executive orders that are being signed at the White House. I have to tickle my own self, because some of this stuff, we all know, some of this stuff, child, if you don't laugh, the tears will come up running down. So let me share another site that you can go to. And I'll also put the link to this. Let me do that now in the chat. Now let me add that to the screen. Okay. So this is called the Federal Register. Listen, as you can see, they're national archives. It's the Federal Register.gov, presidential documents, executive orders. And okay, I'll save commentary for later. So easily it says, okay, here. Also, this one, like I said, it's a little delayed. So tomorrow it will probably go up to the 103 that we saw in the other resource that we just looked at from UC, what is it? Santa Barbara, I think. But it tells you, what this page is about. And you can also download them, right? You can keep a running tally if you so choose. Like if you want to just have it safe so you can be offline and read more about it, go ahead and download it in a CSV format. Excuse me. So in 2025, Donald, who signed 97 executive orders, which we just saw is now 103. This page contains documents that have been published in the Federal Register, because the White House cannot deliver the documents to the office of the Federal Register until after the president signs a document. There's always a delay of at least 1 day, typically of several days, between when he signs and when it is published. Once received, this is an official federal government site. So they have more checks and balances, right? So once the Office of Federal Register gives the president, once received, the Office of Federal Register gives the presidential documents priority processing, and documents will appear on public inspection the business day before publication. If you are looking, well, anyway, so let's just go into a list. Oh, the other good thing is that you can do here, you can also see by year, right? It's broken down by year for a quick review of all the presidents and what orders were signed during that particular year. And so let's just go back to today's times. We're in 2025 under, who. You can also do a PDF, download a PDF, but you can see at a glance what the exact executive orders are, and it has the executive order number first. So stopping waste, and again, this is delayed, so it's not going to show the ones we just looked at about the voting elections, but stopping waste, fraud, and abuse by eliminating information silos, improving education outcomes by empowering parent states and communities. That, pulling the federal government out of it, the dismantling of the Department of Education, right? That was signed on March 20th, and it was published on March 25th. Immediate measures to increase American mineral production, eliminating waste and saving procurement, achieving efficiency through state and local preparedness, continuing the reduction of the federal bureaucracy, addressing risk from Paul Rice. There's a couple Paul Rice in here. So additional recessions of harmful executive orders and actions. And I'm gonna click one of them, but I wanna, restoring public service loan forgiveness, establishing a White House task force on the FIFA World Cup 2026. Child. Establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve and United States digital assets stockpile. Amendment to duties to address the flow of illicit drugs across southern border. Also the northern border. Opioid crisis, more situation at the southern border. There's one I'm particularly looking for. Designating English as the official language of the U.S. Do me a favor. Okay. Expanding access to in vitro fertilization. There's one about women. And there's also, okay, this was another one. Keeping education accessible and ending the, panorama vaccine mandates in school. Establishing the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission. Y'all remember when Sister Michelle Obama, First Lady, was trying to do that, and boy, did she catch hell? Listen, they love to steal an idea, child. Protecting Second Amendment rights. For those of you who heard Flawless, y'all know how I feel about that, but this is just even proof positive that if you can't beat them, child, join them. Yeah. Eradicating anti-Christian bias. keeping men out of women's sports. These are all executive orders, y'all. I'm trying to make sure I don't. So this is, so I clicked on the link. It takes you to the executive order about ending radical indoctrination in K through 12 schooling. Now, understand, it doesn't stop at K through 12 schooling, because we see what they're doing to colleges that they deem offering African American studies, everything. In Florida, they're even talking about the Divine Nine, like how to come for those organizations. So even though this particular executive order specifically speaks to not undergrad, post undergrad, I mean pre-undergrad, it doesn't just stop there. So again, it tells you exactly what the order says. Parents have witnessed school indoctrination. No, excuse me. Parents have witnessed schools indoctrinate their children in radical anti-American ideologies while deliberately blocking parental oversight. Such an environment operates as an echo chamber in which students are forced to accept these ideologies without question or critical examination. We know this is critical race theory. We know exactly what it is. In many cases, innocent children are compelled to adopt identities as either victims or oppressors solely based on their skin color and other immutable characteristics. We don't have to go further. Do yourself a favor, start checking these your alarm is set. Yeah, start checking out these sites, because when we start talking about what's left for them to start, because there's more executive orders coming, y'all. You think he ain't done? Like these 90, no, excuse me, 103 executive orders are just a tiny fraction, because they are gutting everything. They are gutting everything, and many of the things that they are gutting has to do with and it has to do with what was outlined in Project 2025. So now, from what we know about Project 2025, right, which is easily Googleable, go ahead and see what you can check off. And Project 2025 is pretty simple. It's a huge manifesto. Is over 900 pages, close to 1,000 pages, I believe. But the way it is broken up and the chapters, it's easy to follow. So just keeping tabs of what they said, right? And that's why this is, and he did, right? And he did. Like, we sat up there really thinking that this was solely about getting the criminals out of the country, right? Mm-mm. Project 2025 breaks down exactly what all of this is about. And so I want us to be good stewards for our community.